said, God, am I really about to have to take a couple of steps back to a place where I thought you had brought me out of? And this is what I really feel like I heard he say. Are you ready for this, bro? He said, what do you do whenever you want to make a big jump? He said, if you want to make a huge leap, you don't just stand at the edge and jump. He said, sometimes you got to take a few steps back. You take a
Ooh.
few steps back. That way you can get a running start to make your next big leap.
Yo, what's going on, fam? This is your boy K Noel. Another episode with Relentless Conversations. Yo, I hope y'all ready for the journey. I hope you're ready for the ride. You already know how we do. We about to hit that intro. All right, let's go.
1, 2, 3, I got to be a beast and be like 1, 2, 3, I'm hot, watch me unleash and it go 1, 2, 3, when you know that you the best out, chest out, I'm saying I got now, forget the rest now, 1, 2, 3, I got to be a beast and be like 1, 2, 3, I'm hot, watch me unleash and it go 1, 2, 3, when you know that you the best out, chest out, I'm saying I got now, forget the rest now. I rap with the soul of Frankie Beverly, amazed on these graceful beats, forever heavenly. There'll never be none after me unless we talking let us see, but let us see. Begin on high notes like I'm lettuce. It's the real dreamer and artist formerly known as.
Yo, what's going on, man? That never gets old for me, man. I just absolutely love it. Y'all gotta excuse me. I get hyped every time. So check this out. The person I'm about to bring on today is one of my brothers, man. We've been rocking for a good little minute now. He's also my fitness coach. Yeah, your boy is trying to get holistically whole this season of my life. So I'm excited to bring him on. I actually interviewed on his podcast not long ago. I'm gonna let him tell y'all about all about his podcast, and y'all be sure to go subscribe, check it out, follow him on all platforms, yo. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna go ahead and delay what I'm talking about. Let's just go ahead and bring on my brother. What's going on, bro? How's it going on your end?
Noel, bro, thank you for having me on, man. This is a long time coming, and I am super blessed and grateful to be a part of your show. Can I lead in with something real quick? Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, anytime that you set out to do something, it's like you're immediately set with a setback. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm sure whenever we got started with fitness, it's like, hey man, I'm fixing to do this, man. I'm gonna work on getting my fitness on. I'm gonna work on improving my health. And then it's like out of nowhere. Now it's like I'm getting sick. Like, man, I got these unexpected bills coming up. I got all of these different deadlines I got to hit. Like I can't even make it to the gym. It's like all of this stuff starts to happen as soon as we start to create this like new intention. And it's like Myron Golden says, what does he say? He says, disruption follows intention. You know, as soon as like you set this intention to start doing something great, it's like, man, the world comes against you. And so the reason I kind of lead in with that is we've been talking about doing this show together. You know, you actually had me on, what was it, last weekend? And, you know, some different things happened and it got pushed back and stuff like that. And what I'm saying to you, what I'm saying to anybody listening to this is that the one sure way you can know you are on to something great, the one sure way that you can know that you are on the right track is that you are being set up with some setbacks, that some things are coming up against you. It's like Dr. Miles Monroe said. He was like, he said, all true vision will be tested for authenticity. So when you say, hey man, I'm about to do this, if you're not getting any resistance, if you're not getting any resistance, if you're not having any things come against you, if it's not hard for you to go and pursue that thing, there's a good chance that that thing is not for you, right? And so a good way that you can know that you are on the right track is that it's hard, man. It's like things are coming up against you. You're like battling a storm. It feels like you're pushing a ball up a hill. It's tough and it's difficult. What I'm telling you is if you're experiencing that in your health and your business and your family, that's because the enemy wants to push you down. It wants to prevent you from getting to that new level. It wants to prevent you from becoming relentless. And I just want to encourage you, don't let the setbacks push you back, but instead allow that to give you a sign that it's time to move forward and keep pushing. So anyways, what's up, y'all?
Man, hold on. First of all, I got to do the air horns on that one. Man, first of all, how you gonna come out coming strong like that just from the rip, man? Hey.
Well, bro, Go ahead. Go ahead.
And I love it, man. We're starting this episode off hard, man, and I love what you said because a lot of times people think just because things get hard, just because things get rough, oh, maybe this is a sign to quit. Maybe it's a sign it's not meant to be. And that is one of the biggest things that I cannot stand to hear people say, because that is the purpose of the opposition. The opposition is to try to make you quit. But I give it a twist on that too. Sometimes the opposition is there to make you stronger. Sometimes the opposition is there to make you learn lessons. We was just talking about in another episode about the journey, man. You know, the journey to purpose. Sometimes the journey to purpose is to teach you some things. Everybody's so quick to get directly to purpose that they don't embrace the journey. They don't embrace the different steps that they got to take. So, man, I love it, bro.
Well, that's exactly what we got into whenever you came on my show. I mean, how long has that been? It's been a couple of months, right?
Yeah.
But you know, one of the things that we talked about was, you know, the pressing, the crushing, those seasons where it is just like, man, it's intense. It's a lot to take. And I've been thinking a lot about that because since we had that episode, man, I'm going to be honest, like when we did that show, I was going through it. Like I was going through a tough time. But here's the thing, as soon as we wrapped up that podcast, it got worse. Like I'm talking, more things came against me. I had more problems, more struggles. I got knocked down, kicked, you know, dirt thrown in my face, all this different stuff. And I was like, God, what is going on? You know, and I had to kind of hold on to some of the things that we talked about. And so, for those of you guys who don't know me, you know, Noel and I, we've been working, and, you know, he's working on his fitness goal. So I'm a fitness coach. Y'all can see the gym in the back, right? This is where we get our work in. And, I think everybody on this who's listening to this is familiar with the concept of maxing out. You know what I mean? Like, Noel, you know what that means? Like when you go to the gym, you want to max out on something, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, you want to, all right, I'm going to go in today and I'm going to max out on my bench press. So you go in and you're setting up, right? And you start throwing the weights on. And as you start pushing, it starts to get heavy. And you're continuing to put weights on. You're really pushing past your normal limits. And you're getting to a place where you go, what, like, you know what? I don't know if I want to add any more weight. I think I want to call it right here. But the thing is when you're maxing out, it's not just about pushing your physical effort. It's about pushing your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual effort as well. You've really got to push those boundaries. But here's the difference, because maxing out in the gym takes place in a session, but maxing out in life takes place in a season, right? And so what I mean by that is, like, when you go to the gym and you're working on maxing out with that bench press, you're going to do that in the course of 45 minutes to an hour, right? You're in, boom, knock it out. But in life, it's like I told you, man, like we had that episode. I thought I was going through it, but it did not stop. It was days, weeks, months that continued to happen where things were coming against me and I was going through stuff. It happened in a season. But what was happening was God was like my personal trainer. He was like spotting me and trying to push my max. He was trying to add weights and plates to my bar in life. That way he could see where my true strength lies. Because here's the thing, maxing out is not about how strong you've gotten. It's about getting to the place where you are no longer strong, right? It's about finding the place where now you've gotten to a place that you cannot lift anymore. That's where you find where it's like, you know, not to get super spiritual about it, but it's where your strength ends, where your weakness begins, which is where God's strength can now step in.
Come on, man.
You know, many of us, we want to, you know, we want to feel like, man, I can do this. Like I got this. And that's true. Like we are overcomers in this world. But the thing is like, we need to remember whose strength we rely on. And God wants us to be strong. He wants us to do that. That way we can go and benefit his kingdom. But there's seasons where he's got to step in and he's got to find where our max is, right? It goes back to the parable of the talents. He's seeing what we're doing with what we've been given. And if we prove worthy, if we really push that max limit, we're able to achieve more than in the next season. And he's going to provide us with more responsibilities, with more opportunities. And so if you're going through a season where you feel like it will not let up, where it won't stop, where you feel like, God, can you give me a break? He's testing you. He's seeing where your max is. He's seeing just how much you can take. Don't shy away from that. Continue to press in, continue to push that weight up, because he's finding where that max is. And you want to make sure that in this season, your max is more than it was last season. Man, what a bad thing it would be to get to a different season in life and realize that you've actually reverted in your strength. You're doing all this work, you're making all this progress, or you feel like you are, but you're not really making any effort. And you get to the end of this next season and realize, oh man, I've actually reverted back in my faith. Man, I haven't made any progress with my family. Wow, my business isn't going anywhere. You want to make sure that when you get to that next level, you can look back and see tangible progress, that you are reaching new levels in your health and your family or whatever it is. And that's what it means to max out in life rather than just in the gym.
Man, listen. In those moments of you talking, man, I had to go back and look at my life since last year. You know the journey that I've been on, and even just looking at the growth that is taking place, and in my message, what it means to be relentless, even the way I carry myself now, man, my confidence, man, those are the things that I've gained throughout this season of my life, man, throughout the storms, and I love what you're saying. You know, are you going forward, or are you going backwards?
Yes.
You dropping some gems, man.
I'm telling you, bro, it's in the seasons where you feel like a lot of these things are coming up against you, where you start to get some of these gems, right? The gems, like, somebody put it to me like this. They said the views on the mountain are beautiful, but the ground in the valley is fertile. And the ground that, you know, when you're in the valley, and Noel, I know you've been going through a season, but man, that's where that soil is moist. There's nutrients in that soil, and there's going to be some things that grow. And man, it's the things that are growing. It's the fruit that's being produced that's going to give you the fruit that's being produced in the valley is actually what's going to fuel you in order to climb the next mountain. Bro, that just came out. Like, I don't even know where that came from. So.
Hey, that was that fresh end time word from the Holy Spirit, man.
Yes, well, and it's what happens when you get around people like yourself. You know, that iron sharpens iron type thing.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And that should be encouragement to anyone. You know, while you're in the midst of a tough season, or even a rough season, just keep going forward. And it may not be fast. And, you know, I think about something I said years ago. While you're going through the storm and it's raining, we know how it is when it's raining. Sometimes you can't drive as fast. But the fact is, you got to keep going. Man, I think about this story. It was one time me and my wife was coming back from my mom's house. My mom lives in Ohio. It was snowing. It was snowing bad, snowstorm. I'm from Georgia.
Yeah.
We shut down Georgia for less than an inch of snow. So, you know, I know nothing about snow, driving through snow like that. But I think about the lessons that my little brother used to tell me about driving in the snow. And not only that, bruh, I kid you not, it was 16-wheelers pulling over in the midst of this snow. But I kept going. My wife was asleep. But I kept going. Eventually I had to wake her up, though. But, and the thing is, I didn't follow the road because I couldn't see the road. I couldn't see where I was going, but I had to trust the GPS. Man, come on. I had to trust my God navigation system. And God knows the path. He knows the way that he's going to take us. He lit the pathway for me. Bruh, I kid you not. It was nobody in front of me. But I look back behind me, all of those 16-wheelers that pulled over, those vehicles that pulled over, they were following me in a Nissan. Bro, and that's why it's so important to keep going, because you never know who is watching you. You never know who is following you. And those people who are watching you, you're going to give encouragement to them, and they're going to feel like, okay, well, maybe I need to keep going then. And you never know who they are. It may be some people that may be on a higher scale than where you currently are right now, but they're watching you, and they're getting encouragement from you, and they might not ever say a word about it. So don't get discouraged about that, because the enemy will try to use that to get you discouraged too. So let's go ahead and kill that now. But if you keep going, there will be people who will follow you on the journey that you're going.
Man, Noel, when you just shared that story, sometimes we go through situations in our life and we don't realize the prophetic implications that God is trying to explain to us through the actual experience. And man, whenever you were sharing this story of you driving in this small Nissan car, which, when we talk about dreams and we talk about, Joseph had dreams and, all of these people in the Bible, they had dreams. It's a way that God speaks to us. But when we look at our dreams, cars and vehicles in our dreams are representative of ministries. So here's what I want to tell you, Noel, and this is kind of cool. I want you to pray about this because I don't want to be, just pulling stuff out for the show. And I feel like somebody listening to this needs to hear this as well, is that you've been looking at your ministry and you've been thinking, man, like I've got a big vision, I've got big ideas, but I feel limited to a small vehicle. I feel like I'm in a compact car and I'm only able to go so far. I'm only to go so fast. I have big dreams. I have big vision. I have big desires, but I'm in this small vehicle. But here's what I felt whenever you were saying this is that we're in a dark, stormy world right now. And that in that car, although you may not have all of the provision that you need, you may not have all of the resources that you need in order to get where you want to go, you still have the ability to lead. And your ability to lead through the darkness is going to have people who have trucks with trailers filled with provision and resources and valuable things that you need follow behind you. And so just because you don't have it doesn't mean you can't lead the people who do. And they're going where you're going. They're following you first. And when you get there, they're going to be willing to impart things to you, to provide resources as a way to say thank you. And so whoever's listening to this, y'all need to grab a hold of this too, that, hey, oh my gosh, you know what? Like, I feel like, I've got these big dreams, but I'm limited to, like, I don't even have any money in the bank. Continue to lead where you're at, because you can lead somebody who does have what you need, who can provide the resources that you need, who can provide, who can open the doors, who can make that introduction, who can give you the financial abundance, whatever it is. And so, man, that's just what I felt whenever you told me that. And I'm going to let you know, I'm grabbing a hold of that myself. So,
man, and I love that, because I also think about it too. I think about another time heading up to Ohio. And this one was more recent. Man, you blessing me right now, bruh. So,
come on.
On my 2022, me and my wife was heading up to Ohio. I kid you not, that year, I was thinking about canceling the trip because I saw that there was a snowstorm coming. And this snowstorm was worse than when that time we went down. Bruh, it was so bad. We was probably driving less than 45 miles per hour on the highway going through Kentucky.
Yeah.
And, bro, it turned a 9-hour trip into like a 12-hour trip. And, just thinking about that, I wanted to quit. I wanted to turn around. Thought about my mom, well, do y'all just want to get a hotel on the way? No, we're going to keep coming.
Yeah.
And, wow. Just going.
Catching something. Come on, bro.
Yeah. Just going through that, man. And sometimes I'll say this, sometimes God prepares us for a storm that's coming in our life. And it's in the midst of that, he's showing us, you're about to face some stuff, but don't give up. You're about to face some stuff, but don't quit. You may want to stop for a moment. And I tell people this anytime. It's okay to slow down a little bit. It's okay. You may need to stop for a moment, but don't let your moment last too long.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you got to keep going. Yeah, me and my wife, we took breaks to use the restroom and stuff. She may have wanted to get something to eat. We'll stop and do that. But at the end of the day, we kept going. It got dark. And at the nighttime is even worse to drive in the snow because of black ice. But in the midst of it, and let me add to this, the newer Altimas that we got, they got performance tires on. So trying to drive in the snow on performance tires wasn't even worse. So, and it was a matter of trusting God in the process, trusting God in the storm, trusting God in the dark place. That you cannot give up when you're in that dark place. When things are going wrong in your business, when things are going wrong in your marriage, when things are going wrong at your job, and in life, period. And it seems like things are getting dark, and you feel like maybe the easiest route to do is to give up. Don't give up. Keep going. Yeah. If you don't hear nothing else that we're telling you, we're showing you, and we're telling you right now, we're talking from experience, current live experience at that. Keep going.
Yes, bro. I'm me and you, we're kind of developing this friendship, this relationship, right? We're in touch every week. We're talking and stuff like that. And I know your backstory. Like, I know what you've been walking through over the past couple of weeks, past couple of months of really the past year or so, really.
Yeah.
Everything that you've kind of been going through. And you said something, and I think some of your listeners can get something from this as well. But really, this is directed straight to you, Noel, is that you said that right before y'all took this trip, you looked at the weather and you saw that it was going to be, poor weather again. And you thought back to a past season when there had been bad weather and it almost stopped you from going. And so what I want to tell you is, man, you're going through this tough season, and I pray that right now you're on the coming out of this. I pray that it's coming to an end, and there's going to come a time, Noel, where you're going to have to take another trip. You're going to have to take another journey. You're going to be stepping into a new season. But when you do, and when you are aware of the potential storms that may pass, don't let the past storms in your life prevent you from getting in the car and going. Even if it means you have to drive slower, even if it means you've got to make those little pit stops, even if it means like you're not going to get there as fast as you want to, you've got to go on the trip. Don't let the past storms dictate your future trip, your future travel, your future blessings, your future mountain that you're supposed to take. Because I think that's the biggest thing that has trapped people is, man, we get worried. Man, this didn't work out in the past. I'm not starting that business again. Man, that relationship didn't work. I'm not setting myself up for that again. Whatever it is. But the thing is past storms don't dictate the future presence, if you will. You know what I mean? The future blessings that we can get. And so, like I said, man, that's straight for you. But I hope somebody else can get something out of that. And I hope that ministers to you. I hope you got something from that.
Yeah, most definitely, bro. I most definitely got something out of that, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, man.
Let's transition real quick. So
let's do it.
So in the interview questions I asked you who was your favorite speaker. So in the midst of those, in that list, I picked one of your speakers. And it's also one of my favorite speakers too. Okay. I've been following him pretty heavy, probably about the last 2 or 3 years. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna play this video clip, and then we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna break down this clip. All right, so let's hit it.
And God wants to use your life as evidence and as an example that bouncing back from these things are possible. Now, you asked God to use you. You said, if you can use anything, Lord, you can use me. And when we ask God to use us, what we're really asking God to do is use my gifts. But God says, sometimes I'm not going to use your gifts. Sometimes I'm going to use your life. Sometimes I'm going to let you go in a grave and stay there 3 days. And I'm going to raise you back up so that everybody that saw you go in has to watch you come out as evidence of what I can do.
Come on, bro.
Man, that hit me, bro. I ain't trying to get all emotional on your show, but that hit me. And man, he's been through this past season. It's like God directed me to him at the right time to just start, in a way, binging his content.
Yeah.
All of his past sermons and stuff, man. He has been speaking. First of all, he is just an incredible communicator. Oh my gosh. Yeah. He's phenomenal in the way he communicates. But there's a specific sermon series that really, really spoke to me, and then I want to get into this video, was God didn't say that. Have you watched that one, or are you familiar with that
I
one?
seen pieces of the series.
Yeah, I mean, and the whole thing is just basically calling out the devil for the lies that, for the lies that he says. And I think me and you even talked about this on a coaching call, but it's so good, I've got to share it. He was talking about how the enemy wants to say these things, and oh, well, you can't do that, you're not talented enough for that, oh, that's already been done, you don't have the resources for that. And what PD said was, hey, anytime you start to hear that voice, you might as well go ahead and start praising him. You might as well start rejoicing in the Lord, because he said, because the devil is the father of lies, meaning that he can't tell the truth. So if he's saying it's one way, that way it's actually the opposite. So if he says you ain't got resources, God's fixing to supply. If he said you don't have the talent, God's fixing to bless you with your gifts.
Come
He
on.
just started saying all this, and I was like, woo, I receive it. Oh my gosh, it was just hitting me. So, but no, moving on to this video. Just this morning, it might have been yesterday morning, I really do feel like I'm in this season of coming out, where I feel like I had been put in the grave. Bro, you can go look on my social media page. I haven't been on social media. You can go listen to my podcast, bro. I haven't put out an episode in a while. And it's because I've been in this place where I'm trying to process where I've been, what's happened, all these different things that's gone on. And we can get into it if you want to on your show, but to keep it brief, I really do feel like I've been buried. And God's been nudging me and saying, hey, it's time to step out of the grave. Like, it's time to come out of those grave clothes, not because you've got something to do, but so people can see him glorified, basically. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, look at what God can do. Like, we know what Chase just went through. We saw what Chase has been going through, or maybe a lot of people don't. But, seeing me step out of this season and be unscathed, coming out of the fire and not smelling like the stench of smoke, it's all of these different things. And so that clip, I don't know what made you click that one, bro, but woo.
Yo, look, man. I follow God's guidance on what clip I'm gonna use each time, man, and it seems to always work out just like that.
Yeah.
But I will say this, man. We had to be buried, and it doesn't feel comfortable, and it doesn't feel good. But in the midst of your coming out, God is clothing you with new. And what's going to happen is God is not people aren't going to be able to recognize who this new person is, because God is building. Not only is he building new things around you, he's building new things in you. I mean, not only is he building new things in you, but he's building new things around you. Everything is about to come out new, man. Your business is about to come out new, man. You're about to birth new things, new visions.
Come on.
Bruh, the way things are about to change in your family, bruh. Everything is going to work out for your good, man. Though you've been in the valley, though you've been in the storm, all things work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. Yeah, it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good when that happened. It didn't feel good in that moment when you got that news. But in the midst of it, God said, I got you. In the midst of it, God was with you all along. Yeah, God, you just don't understand. God is like, yeah, I know. But God, no, I got you. Just rest. Yeah. Rest. In the midst of the storm, the disciples were panicking, but Jesus was on the boat. He was resting. We got to learn to be able to rest in the middle of our storms. We got to, and not only rest, come on now, not only rest, but rest in him. We got to be able to rest in him in the middle of our storm, because who are we trusting in? Are we trusting in ourselves, or are we trusting in him? Some trust in horses and chariots, but we will trust in the Lord God. Who are you trusting in this season?
Man, that's good. Man, that's so good. And, to bring it back to Pastor Darius Daniels, I was listening to him yesterday, and he brought up that same story about, the storms in life. And he recalled the scripture where Jesus is asleep on the boat,
Yeah.
But he was like, man, but I just love how specific scripture is, because it doesn't say he was just asleep in the back of the boat. It said he was resting his head on a pillow, which means he was comfortable in the storm. So
Yeah.
whenever we go through a storm, not only should we be able to sleep peacefully, but we should be able to sleep comfortably through the storm, because
Come on
that's
with it.
where our peace lies. And I was like, oh my gosh. Because let me tell you, bro, this past storm that I went through, I wasn't sleeping comfortably.
Yeah.
I was up every night. I was losing sleep. I was crying out to God, and I was just praying that it would be over. But the thing is even though the disciples, they cried out and they asked for help, Jesus took his time to wake up, and then he calmed the storm. So it's going to be on his time. It's going to
Yeah.
be when he gets his rest,
Yeah.
and we have to, like you said, we have to continue to trust in that. I'll give a quick little backstory. We won't get into it too much, but you can look behind me. You can see all this gym equipment. Uh, over a little over a month ago, all of this gym equipment was in a gym. I had a gym, and that's where I conducted my business. That's where I trained my clients. That's where I spent my day. And, some things took place, and we could point fingers. We could blame other people. We could, say it was ourselves. There's so many different layers to it, right? But nonetheless, now I'm here. I'm in my garage. And whenever I had to, I started my business here in this garage. And I felt like whenever I got to the gym that I had made it out, right? I felt like this was like my new promised land. Like this was the land flowing with milk and honey. And I was like, whenever I started to realize, man, I may have to come back to the garage. I may have to start training my clients in the elements. Y'all see the doors are open. So it's like rain, cold, heat. You feel it all in here. I mean, I'm a little sweaty right now here in Texas. But here's the thing. Before I started to move all of my stuff back, I said, God, am I really about to have to take a couple of steps back to a place where I thought you had brought me out of? And this is what I really feel like I heard he say. Are you ready for this, bro? He said, what do you do whenever you want to make a big jump? He said, if you want to make a huge leap, you don't just stand at the edge and jump. He said, sometimes you got to take a few steps back. You take a few steps back. That way you can get a running start to make your next big leap. Bro, I ain't smart enough to come up with that. That was straight God. And let me tell you, it brought so much peace and comfort to know that, hey, I may have to come back to the garage, but this is just a minor setback for a major comeback. And let me tell you, the next leap that I take, I heard God say, you know what, where I'm taking you, you don't need a gym. He said, where I'm taking you, the world is about to be your gym. He said, you're about to be training people in places far beyond a gym. You're going to be training people in corporations and in schools and in organizations. He said, a gym was too small for you. He said, I had to pull you out of that. I had to cause you to step back. That way, when you step into this next season, you're not stuck in the four walls of a gym. The world becomes your gym.
Bro, before you even begin to tell that story, all I was hearing was pivotal turn. The next turn is about to be so pivotal for you. Bro, and we don't had conversations. We don't had conversations behind the scenes about this.
Yep.
Bro, I'm so excited for what's to come.
Yeah.
And
Bro, me too.
And I can't wait till we can look back at this and be like, man, you remember when?
We're going to come back and listen to the show.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
And I don't want to make this all about me, man. This is your show, but I'm excited too. And, going back to what Pastor Darius said about, hey, I had to bury you. You had to taste some of that. You had to experience some failure. But man, the thing is the failures in our life, that's what qualifies us. Yeah. It's not the success that gives us the validation and the qualifications. It's the failures. It's the ruins. It's the bad things that crumbled at our feet. That's what actually we begin to stand on. That's what we actually begin to build from is our failures. We're so afraid to fail that we never even start building. But the thing is like, it's like I don't know, like I was going to say building so I'll relate it like this. I got my son Arrow. He's 4 years old, and he's got these Magna tiles. right? They're like little magnets, and you stack. You can build buildings. You can create stuff. And man, earlier today we're playing and we're building this house out of it, right? And
Yeah.
man, I'm going all in. Like I'm making it like a castle. I'm like, man, I'm gonna live here one day. This is nice. I got it looking good. And of course, he comes through with one of his stuffed animals and is like, roar, and just starts crashing it, knocking it down. And whenever that happens, it is really hard to grab that first block and start to build again. But if we will, we already have the vision of how big it can be. That old vision is now old. Now what you have to create has to top that. It's got to be bigger and better than that. But we've got to pick that piece up. We've got to be willing to start building it back, right? We can't just let it stay in ruins. We've got to actually build it back.
Yeah.
So, and we do that with our failure. Our failures actually give us the credibility that we're looking for. It's not the degree. It's not the successful businessman. A lot of success stories are low-key kind of annoying. Like when you hear about like people just talking about their wins, it's like, man, I want my hero to have some scars on him. I want to know my hero went through some tough times. I want to know my hero had to climb and crawl and drag his way to success. Not that like, man, as soon as we launched our website, man, we just had sales pouring in. It's like, okay, good for you, buddy. But I want somebody where it was, they had to build again and again, and some stuffed animal came and wrecked it, and they had to pick up the pieces and do it again and again. So,
yeah, man, those life stories that we know where the building, it got hard, or it got to the point where everybody was mocking us or telling us to come down. But like Nehemiah, the work is too great for us to come down. Now we got to keep building. You may have to have a sword on the side, or you may have to have it in one hand, but you got your tool in your other hand building. Yeah. So while I'm building, I'm praying. While I'm building, I'm worshiping. While I'm building, I'm studying my word. Come on now.
That's good, bro. Man, you got me wanting to go open up and read some Nehemiah. Now, he was the one who he had to ask the boss, hey, I need you to let me leave.
Yeah.
Like I have a bigger calling than where I am right now.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where some people are at, where they say, you know what, I'm in this, this 9 to 5, but I really do feel like I'm supposed to be doing something different. And you need to go to the king, or you need to go to your employer, or you need to go to God, and you need to say, hey, I feel this thing. I really feel like I need to do this. Like, can you help me transition? Can you help me make the jump? Can I get a promotion? Can I start getting some days off so I can start building this thing? Because just like Nehemiah, that requires some faith. Yeah. That requires some strong faith to say, who, me? Okay, God, if you say so, like, let me see what I can manage, So yeah. Anyways, getting off a little bit, but
no, you good, bro. And as you was talking, I was thinking about when they ran out of wine, and Jesus' mother, she went to him and told him. He said, what does that have to do with me? But nevertheless, she told them, by faith, do what he tells you to do. And if I can't tell anybody else, just another encouraging word. No matter what it looks like, even if it sounds crazy, when you feel like your resources have ran out, when you feel like your strength has ran out, when you feel like everything has ran out, do exactly what he says. Because if you do exactly what he says, you're going to notice that miracle. You're going to see that water turned into wine. That's where the miracles come from, when we do exactly what he tells us to do, even when and not look at what we have and don't have. We get so focused on what we have and what we don't have that we're not looking at the God who has everything.
Yes. And bro, let me add to that. Go ahead.
We have limits, but we serve a God who is limitless.
Yes. And bro, let me add on that, because the crazy thing about that story is that Mary had never seen Jesus perform a miracle in her whole life. He had never done anything. Yet she knew to go to him and ask for the miracle.
Yeah.
And so there's some of us where they go, you know what? I've never seen God do anything like that in my life. I've never seen him, bless me like that. I've heard about it, you know, I've read about it, but I ain't never seen it happen for me. Don't let that prevent you from making the big ask and going and saying, God, can you do this for me? And then, just as you said, because the thing is he's not a magic genie in a bottle who he's just waiting for your next wish that he's going to grant.
Yeah.
God's not in the business of making chairs. He's in the business of making trees. He will provide for you the resources, the tools, the provision that you need for you to do it yourself. So I know he can bless, he can, bestow gifts, and he can do stuff like that. But most of the time, it usually follows, just like you said, we've got to do exactly what he says, and it
Yeah.
requires a process. Some of my favorite miracles that he does in the New Testament required a process. Go down to the pool of Siloam and wash. He had to take the blind man out of the city and then put mud on his eyes. It's like there's this process to it. He heals in instant, times as well. He has those like instantaneous, quick, charismatic, type miracles. But I feel like the ones that we are going to experience more of in our life is going to be those ones with that process where he gives you specific, detailed, hey, now you do this. Now you walk with me. Now I'm going to show you what to do next. Now I'm going to allow you to. It goes back to what you were talking about when you were driving in the storm and the rain's coming down, right? The snow's coming down and it's really, really hard to see.
Yeah.
There's going to become times in our lives where we can't see what to do next. We just got to feel.
Man,
We got to feel our way to our destination.
Yeah.
And so that requires, like you said, we got to be in touch with him. We got to know what the word says. We got to have that lamp to our feet. When we can't see before us, we need to make sure our feet got some light on them.
Man, talk about it. Yeah. Yeah, bro. So
that's good, bro.
Yo, man, so as we're transitioning to the end, man, I want you to bless the people, man. Just speaking to their lives, man.
So, well, let me ask one or two things, because I wrote some stuff down, and your audience primarily, would you say entrepreneurs, or people trying to reach peak performance, or people who are really working to become relentless, obviously, but would you say that somebody who's building a business or has a career, they're trying to take it to the next level or something like that?
Yeah, definitely.
So if it's okay with you, I know we've kind of done a lot of spiritual groundwork, if you will, today. We've really talked about some prophetic things and stuff like that. But if it's cool with you, I would like to give people something a little more tangible to like take and actually use, like some action tools, some action steps.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
So I wrote down 4 things that we must be doing if we want to move forward with our business, with our careers, with our purpose. These are very tangible things. And I know for a fact that you're going to appreciate these things. And I'm sure you're already doing these things anyways. But and I'm going to go ahead and preface this by saying I have not mastered what I'm going to share with you. But this is the list that I look to every single day. And every single day I wake up and I know, hey, I got to be doing something, and I refer to this list. This is kind of like right now, this is my my guiding light as far as driving my business. So I'm going to share 4 things plus a bonus one.
Okay.
So the first one that I wrote down is write, read, and work. Every day, write, read, and work. Meaning we need to be developing our skills and our abilities related to our industry, right? So if we're a speaker, we need to be writing and speaking. We need to be hearing ourselves talk. We need to be videoing ourselves. We need to be doing podcasts or YouTube videos, whatever it is. We need to constantly be developing our skills. If we're, if we're authors, we need to be writing every single day, and I mean a little bit more than just to-do lists. Like we need to be writing in that prompt, in that way that we like to write. As far as like, creating, a free ebook that we're going to give out, or to write our next nonfiction copy or nonfiction title or whatever it is. We've got to be doing the things that are related to our industry. right? We got to be sharpening ourselves. The second thing is we need to be crafting, creating, and carrying out compelling offers. So we need to be putting out things where it starts to ding the cash register for us. I mean, I love that we're thought leaders, Noel, but we also we can't just talk. We got bills to pay too. We got mouths to feed. We got a future we want to build, and that requires money. So we got to be dinging the register, and that does not happen without us making offers. And so, whether that offer is, something free, like a free 30-minute consultation, or it's that free ebook that we were talking about, or it's, hey, I'm going to sign you on as one of my clients, and, I'm going to train you and coach you for the next 3 months for X amount of dollars, right? We need to be creating these compelling offers and putting them out into the marketplace. This needs to be a daily practice for us. The third thing, and I know you'll appreciate this one, is implement an intentional and intelligent social media content strategy.
Oh yeah.
This is the one where I'm very unfaithful to, and it is so important today. I was reading in the book Oversubscribed. I don't know if you checked that one out yet, but he talks about the fact that if you want to be successful today, if you want to be what they call oversubscribed, you've got to have so much content out there that when people discover you, they can go binge your stuff. Right? It's just like me whenever I talked about discovering Darius Daniels and really like him coming in at the right season. I had the ability to go to his YouTube page and watch it for hours and hours and hours because he had so much content out there. And that's really what we need to be doing. We need to be making sure that we're putting out not just quantity content, but quality content too, right? And I know the structure of that, having that hook in there, giving some detailed information, then giving the valuable takeaways, and then having that call to action, right? There's like that structure. I have got to get better at this. I've got to get better at this. I'm going to need you to help me out, bro. And then the fourth one, the final one, and this is kind of related to number 2, is we got to prepare, pursue, and provide for our people in our pipeline. Meaning that the people who, we are working to develop relationships with, the people who we want to work for, we've got to be nurturing those relationships. We've got to be adding more people to that list, and we got to make sure that we are providing for them. We're showing them that we are the people for the job. And so that's 4 things that you can kind of take away. I hope you got to kind of write those down, but I do have a bonus one if it's cool with you, Noel.
Yeah, go ahead and drop it, bro.
So this bonus one is so we had this thing come in to our city a couple of weeks ago, and it's called a business incubator. I don't know if you've heard of this, but these people came in from Florida, and they ran this small little event. And one of my clients, he's like a really high-end entrepreneur here in town. He's got a coffee shop, runs this huge business. Anyways, he goes, and when he's there, he's talking to these people, and this guy from Florida, he's like this freaking millionaire, comes up and asks him, he says, hey, what does your daily workflow utilizing AI look like right now? And he goes, I don't have one. And he was like, well, don't you think you probably should? Because it's not going anywhere. It's here. It's literally everywhere you look now. Dude, I pulled up my Google the other day, and AI is actually when you search in Google, it's using AI now. So it's it's not going anywhere. So we as content creators, as thought leaders, as business owners and entrepreneurs, we need to be capitalizing on this in the best way we can. And so what I would encourage you to do is start utilizing AI. Most of you guys listening to this probably are already, but finding a daily workflow with it where it's helping you take the grunt work off of you, really, to free your mind up to think about the big picture type stuff. I'll tell you the truth, Noel, bro. I'm an entrepreneur on a shoestring budget, and I don't have the luxury of having a full team of advisors to help me and do things for me and all these different tasks. And so AI is honestly probably the best way that I can do that for myself. And it's a lot faster than people too. So we definitely be using that. So
yeah, man, I know firsthand that how much AI comes in clutch. So, and I'm trying to do everything that I can to make my life a little bit easier nowadays.
Yes.
So
Well, I saw something where, I mean, people are even using it, like you can use it to like edit your videos and stuff for you. I mean, it's crazy where it's going and stuff. It's kind of scary too. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I mean, I am like questioning like when I use it, like, am I just like adding into like end of the world type stuff? But at the same time, if we can use it to build God's kingdom, we should not shy away from it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt. Bro, so tell me, where can everybody find you at?
So you can find me, I'll give you my website, which is www.chaseinspires.com. You can also find me on, of course, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn. All you got to do is search at Chase Inspires. At Chase Inspires, all one word, but it's the same. It's the same handle on all platforms. And like I said, bro, you go there right now, it's going to seem like crickets, but just so y'all know, I'm coming out of the grave, and y'all going to see something new whenever I come out. So,
Oh yeah, and we look forward to seeing what God is about to do, bro.
yes, man. Well, thank you so much for having me on, bro. This has been a blast.
Oh yeah, you know how it goes when me and you get together.
For sure.
But bro, I just want to tell you, man, I appreciate you, man. Not just for today, but just period, man. You have been a very significant part of my life, bro. You and a lot of other brothers, man. God has really placed some brothers in my life in this season, man. And I'm eternally grateful for it. I remember back in 2022. I was telling my wife that, that was one thing I was praying for was more solid brothers, and God did just that, man. So just to see what everything that God is doing, how he's answered those prayers, and
Yep.
yeah, bro, this has been an amazing episode.
Yeah, well, it goes both ways. And just so you know, I prayed a very similar prayer and view you in the same light, man. And I honestly think, we've got that, spend some time together and we're connecting and, working on our health goals and stuff like that. But I'm going to just go ahead and say, like, this is just the beginning, bro. Like, this is a partnership it's going to be fruitful in the years to come. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you, man.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And for all of the listeners, all of the people that's listening and watching it, no matter what time of the day it is, whether it's morning, day, noon, or night, you already know the drill. I'm Noel, your relentless motivator. Leave no days left behind, and most importantly, you be relentless. All right, I'm out.
Hey, aren't you glad? I'm bringing it back. My chains in the past. Got my confidence back. I ain't living in land. That ain't living like that. Hey, aren't you glad?